Hi, I'm Tracy, and welcome to my channel, Supreme Fitness and Living. And today, let's talk about my weight loss journey. My weight loss journey began in my mid-20s to early 30s. Growing up younger, I didn't have a lot of issues. I was like most kids. I loved candy, loved bottle caps, root beers. So I did eat a lot of sweets. I just was a slender kid. In fact, they used to call me olive oil because my legs, they were so little. I did start to put on weight in junior high, but nothing that was, out of control or that I couldn't get back off easily. And then in my 20s, I started to pick up grown woman weight, is what I call it. Again, nothing considered overweight, nothing to consider obese. And then I noticed I started to pack on a little bit more weight as I started taking birth control pills, anywhere from say 20 to 40 pounds. And of course I was in my 20s then, so then I could go to Weight Watchers, Herbalife, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, did all of those. Were super successful with pretty much anything I did, but again, I was in my 20s. I've always been a cardio person. I always liked it because I grew up with it around in my home. My mother was very much into nutrition and physical fitness, so I was very fortunate and blessed in that area that I was exposed to it really young. So as time went on and I continued, I switched over birth control formats, and I went to what they called a 3-month shot. With the 3-month shot, you didn't take any nightly pills. But with the 3-month shot, literally within the first 4 to 6 weeks, I noticed I was gaining weight rapidly, like 20 pounds rapidly. I asked the doctor about it. Of course, his response was, nope, couldn't be the medicine. Why would it be that? Yeah, you may be a little bit more hungrier. It's a hormone. So you could be eating a little bit more, but not this rapid. So it's not that. It has to be something else. So let's just say this went on for over a year. And by the end of that year, my weight would sometimes fluctuate, but again, anywhere from 140 to 180 over the course of life. And then I noticed that, like I said, it started to pick back up with the weight. I'd gotten up to 220 pounds. And when I was there at 220, I thought, I won't gain any more. This shot will kind of level out. I was still walking. I was still pretty much eating the same, nothing different. I was a little bit hungrier. The doctor was actually right about that. I want to say it was a progesterone type of a birth control pill shot. I know it's since been removed from the market just because of the weight loss, but also because it showed that it could cause osteoporosis. So I think they ended up dumbing the shot down, making it like a 30-day, or completely removing it and coming up with something else. But the time it was all over and done with, I was 300 pounds. And when I got to 300 pounds, I noticed that weight loss had become just like I could not, no matter what I did. I knew about the ellipticals, treadmills, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, low carb, Atkins, high carb. Even though keto has been around since the 1930s, I probably did keto, paleo, you name it, I've done it. At first, super successful. I've lost 20 to 40 to 50 pounds with Weight Watchers several times, no problems. But whatever was in this birth control pill, this hormone that had changed my hormones, it was there to stay. I mean, no matter what I did, I made a nick off 5, but it was like selling my soul to the devil. And so what I decided to do is I started researching gastric bypass. And when I started researching it, I wasn't quite sold on it. So I went around, I did interviews with different people who had it. I sat in classes for it so I could do research about it. I researched the doctors. I finally settled on a doctor in Dallas, Texas. He was one of the main doctors and one of the doctors who taught other doctors about how to do it. His name is Dr. David Provost. He was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. At this time, he has now since moved to Temple, Texas. I got on his wait list for about 2 years plus years. I was on a wait list. But I started getting sick while I was on the wait list. I would eat some food, and when I eat it, I would get really, really nauseated, and we couldn't figure it out, and it'd kind of go away and it would come back. And then finally I pinpointed it down to every time I ate something fatty, I would get extremely ill. So they said something's wrong with your gallbladder. And what had happened was I grew up in the era of super low fat. So I don't know if you guys have family members or you were part of the low fat craze. I would go from like super, super no fat in my diet whatsoever, because that's what my mom did. So that's what I did, to back balls to the walls. I'm going to eat. It's going to be high fat. So I'm pretty sure I'd shut down my gallbladder somewhere between my high fat, low fat days. But when I went the first time, they found nothing wrong. The gallbladder looked great. There was no gallstones there. So they did another test, and I think the test they did then, it may have been the HIDA scan, but what they did was kind of trick the body into thinking that you're eating or that you're getting fat or that you need to produce bile from your gallbladder. Well, I immediately got super sick, so my gallbladder had just stopped working. With that happening, with my gallbladder not working, the internal medicine doctor, or the gastric bypass doctor, moved me to the front of this 2-year wait list. And it really had me thinking, because in my mind, I had 2 years, I'll do Weight Watchers again, I'll get this birth control out of my system, even though it's known to stay in your system for years and years later in your fat cells as storage. I'll detox, but I was moved to the front of the line. So fast forward to the day of my surgery, we were there, I was strapped in. They had not given me any calming medicine at that time, so I told them to please only take my gallbladder. I will wait on the gastric bypass. They proceeded to give me the Relax You juice and Fun juice. I calmed down. When I woke up, everything was done. Gastric bypass, gallbladder removed. I don't remember a lot in the first 24 hours. Family members said, one said I cried. I probably did. But they said after that, not much. I slept. The next day, I remember them getting up to come get me to go walk. And I remember that so vividly because I visit other patients that were there. They called us the little bitties. They called us the little bitties because anybody that was probably 400 plus pounds and lower, the time I'd had my surgery, they make you go on like a high protein diet to make sure your liver's not fatty. I'd gotten down to 275, so the day I actually had the surgery, I was 275 pounds. And that was just for my high protein, low carb, which did almost make me think, why I told them, just take my gallbladder, I can do this on my own. But I continued down the path, woke up, remember walking the next day. They were calling us the little bitties because we were 400 and below. Well, I happened to be on a floor and unit at that time at that particular hospital. And my gastric bypass, if I didn't tell you guys, I had it in September 2001. This year will actually be in September, 22 years ago that I've had my gastric bypass. So I say I've been very successful these last 22 years. And I know a lot of my success has come from stuff I've known prior. I'm a certified exercise physiologist. At the time, I worked pharmacy for over a decade, even though I'm in IT now and have been for over 25 years. But as I got up and started to walk around the day after my surgery, I went into other patients' room, and there were people there that were 800 pounds. They had cranes and they had to move them. So that's why they called us the little bitties, because I couldn't figure out why the nurses was telling us, hey, little bitties, go walk, go see the other patients. And so it really puts things in perspective for you. So at that particular time, I felt very fortunate and very blessed. Like I said, I was able to walk the next day. They did the test where they made sure I didn't have any leakage in my stomach and intestines. After they did that, they proceed then to give you some ice chips for a while. And then I went on to 2 ounces of Carnation breakfast milk. The reason I'm smiling, I remember when they brought it, I thought, oh dear Lord, food, because in my brain and head, that had not caught up that I had surgery yet. I drank my 2 ounces. I was kind of scared. I sipped really slow because I didn't know what to expect. But I drank it all, no problems, didn't get sick. Now, my neighbor got extremely ill. Other people all in the unit were getting extremely ill. So I thought, that's weird. So I remember the neighbor asking me, did I want hers? And I was like, sure, I'll take your 2 ounces. I drank hers, nothing. So I thought, man, my gastric bypass did not work. And when I told the doctor, he had concerns as well. His concerns were like, he said, I see patients like you. They normally can have a little bit more, or they can eat a little bit of sugar, and they're not usually as effective, and you usually won't be as successful. Well, I was successful. I got down to 150 pounds lost, but I ended up settling around 160 to 175, which is a good weight for me. I'm right at 5'5". I usually just say 5'4" because I'm right at 5'5", but I'm right at 5'5". Like I said, it's been 21 years. I've enjoyed the journey. It's been quite the journey. If you have gastric bypass or knowing anybody who have had gastric bypass, this journey is not for the faint of heart. You ended up, after my gastric bypass, even with all of my success and as well as I did with the success, I still, like about that 5th year, my energy was super low. and end up having to have an iron infusion. I've had to have 3 of those in this 22 years coming up this September journey. And usually I know, because no matter what I do, I can't catch my energy. And if I take B12s, if I take shots, I'm still kind of low on energy. And usually that's the first thing they check is my iron. But other than that, super successful. Have I had injuries, toe breaks, to let them know I need to increase my calcium just walking and my toe will break? Well, sure, I've definitely had some things, and it's definitely some things now for the rest of my life as far as supplementation, how I eat, getting exercise in, weight bearing exercise, all those things are super important. A lot of people, when I was taking this journey, took the journey with me. So I have some amazing families and friends, and what they did, even though they didn't have gastric bypass, they just watched me move around. They saw that I did protein first. They saw that I drank tons of water. When you first have the gastric bypass, that's damn near impossible, because every time you take a sip, you feel full or you feel a certain way. Well, of course, I'm 22 years out now, so I can drink regular. I eat regular, in case you're normal. You're wondering, and we'll just make it easy. Like before, I used to love Big Macs prior to my surgery. Big Macs were my jam. They were my thing prior. Now, afterwards, I think I went almost a year and a half before I even had meat, because it would just hurt my stomach so bad. About a year and a half, I had my first half of a hamburger. Now, like I said, I can eat a full supersize me meal if I wanted to. But what gets me now, though, is, of course, my metabolism has slowed significantly from eating such reduced calories for decades to now I can eat regular calories. So that's another part of the journey that we'll explore together as I get my metabolism back up to speed, and as I can eat full. And I've had now for years been able to eat full amount of meals. So my stomach, of course, is back to normal size, but then you still have things like your lower intestines that you still have to be careful for, and you can't absorb all your food and nutrition. So there are things along with this journey that comes with it, and if it's something that you're thinking about doing, I would tell you, do your research. I'll answer any questions for you, any questions you may have, any family members. But the family members who helped me on this journey, what they started doing was they just watched me. Like I said, I was fortunate and blessed. I had a mom who's a nurse practitioner into health and nutrition. I was a certified personal trainer prior to my surgery. Yes, I was the fattest one in the class, getting to be a certified nutritionist and personal trainer. But what they did was they noticed that I ate some of the things I still love, but just smaller portions. So they just started eating smaller portions, and they started to drop weight. So what we realized was hey, and of course we're younger than 30s. A lot of things work in your 20s, 30s, and even 40s, depending on how hormones come into play and how you were taking care of yourself before. But they started to drop weight just by cutting their portions. And so we ended up having walking challenges and weight loss. So it was actually a fun journey. I had a lot of great people with me, and even the journey to this day, that now that I'm in my 50s. So now we're doing hormone journey. In fact, I'm 51 and proud of it that I'm 51. But as I start to get in this hormone journey, we'll take this journey together. I'll share with you guys what I eat in a day, the exercises that I do. I'm very much an elliptical girl, a treadmill girl. I have a standing desk at work. I'm definitely into weight training. I lost a lot of muscle mass with gastric bypass, a ton. So it's taken me, I started the pandemic. I always was into lifting weights, but during the pandemic, I truly was able to embrace it, do it effectively, do it consistently, and I've seen major results with body composition, and we'll get into body composition. Because I didn't lose a lot of weight, but with the weight training, the body composition changed greatly. Everybody who I come in contact with was like, well, have you lost weight? Have you lost more weight? I'm like, no more weight. In fact, I've gained about 8 to 10 pounds, and I'm hoping the 7 is at least all muscle mass. But like I said, this has been over 2 years now. But we'll do the journey. If you like this video and you think it could help somebody else, please share it with them. Please please subscribe, please share. Please give me comments in the comment section, as I'd love to know what you liked about this video, what you didn't, what you'd like to know more about. anything in addition I can share with you, anything you'd like to share with me on your journey, please feel free. But I look forward to this. I'm excited. Again, like, share, subscribe, give me a comments. I look forward to reading them. Until next time, have a good one.